This episode of the Purple Tie Radio Show is brought to you by Fave Geek, home of your favorite geeks.
Find them online at favegeek.com.
And by the Purple Tie, where we inspire success.
Find us online at purpletieguys.com.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Purple Tie Radio Show. I'm your host, Robert Martin.
And I'm your co-host, Blake Singleton.
And we are the Purple Tie Guys. Cold Purple Tie Guys.
We are.
Purple Tie Guys.
It's below
20,
freezing.
It's 20
in
degrees.
Alabama.
Yeah. My heat didn't shut off yesterday. Well, it shut off one time yesterday.
And you thought it broke.
Yeah, I was like, crap, it broke. Nope. Finally got to 68 degrees inside the house. Oh, my God.
I'm so glad.
They are bumping it down to 66. My power bill is going to be outrageous.
Did you ever get your power bill under $100?
No,
tried.
I tried, but I did not. Look, this satellite transmission system we have here takes a lot of power to, beam out to Singapore. Our Singaporean friends, we love you.
Singaporean
friends, or is that not what it is?
I don't know.
We're from the South. We're from Alabama.
I don't know. I've never had to refer to somebody from Singapore. People of Singapore.
We love you.
Oh,
and we're in the midst of Snowmageddon.
That wasn't.
Oh, okay. So, we got Renee's going to listen to this and be like, y'all don't know snow. We got like 40,000 feet of snow up here. I'm sure that's a measured amount as well.
It's funny you should mention that. I talked to my mom yesterday, and she lives in North Carolina, and they don't get snow up there all that much either. And she was asking me if we were okay, and I said, no, we're not okay. They thought there was going to be snow.
Man, so I made the mistake of... So, Friday... in the midst of, oh my God, we're all going to die because it may snow.
Yeah.
Then they were like, well, there's this 50 mile wide narrow band that's going to skirt across northern Alabama and
it's going to engulf.
We could get a half an inch.
It's going to engulf Alabama. This is what people from Alabama heard.
And so
it's going to engulf Alabama in 17 feet of snow.
Oh my God. And so Walmart and Kroger are not the places to go in the middle of Snowmageddon. So I was like, Friday, I was like, man, I got to get stuff for the weekend just in case. I got a big Ford truck, and I'm not afraid of a little snow. I'm afraid of the drivers in a little snow, but I'm not afraid of a little snow. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to brave Walmart or Kroger. I'm going to go to Publix. I should have went to Walmart.
Yeah, that was the wrong decision.
I went to Kroger, man, to Publix, and then you've got the rich snobs who are afraid of being snowed in, and so then they become really rude, and it's like, man, I'd rather go to Walmart and deal with the people of Walmart than I would have to go. I mean, can I just convenience store shop for 2 days?
Though? You know what's funny? It's like, okay, so Christmas time was just 2 weeks ago.
Oh, man.
Right? And it seems like half a year at this point. But whenever you go into Walmart at Christmas, you go in there with like knives and guns and swords and stuff.
You go in there with like battlement armor ready. And
because you don't know what's going to happen,
armor-plated buggies, and I mean, it's bad.
But if you go in there during Snowmageddon, they're like, do y'all need bread, milk, and eggs?
It's on aisle 3, 4, and 6.
Yeah.
Nope, okay.
I've got six cartons of eggs and 3 gallons of milk. Do y'all need one? I can go back and get. It's like, it's crazy. They turned into these different.
God.
It's the same people. You saw this one old lady come in before Christmas brandishing like a sharpened cane. That could kill people at a moment because she wanted 3 of those TVs. But you come in 2 weeks later, whenever there might be snow
again, I'll share my eggs with you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so bad too. It was just the park. Attempted to go to Kroger, right? And I looked at the parking lot, and it was beyond full. Like, they were parking in the Milos and walking over. I'm like, if they're willing to walk from the Milos, there's something wrong.
And there's a Kroger gas station in front of it too that was completely packed.
Oh my God. And so my Facebook feed of people that are in Alabama was just like, y'all get gas. Well, if power goes out, we ain't going to be able to get no gas. It's going to be 93, y'all. And I'm just like, what? Because 93, you know.
I saw a video of the guy that was pretending to be a Southern woman.
It's going to be 93 all over again. We're going to lose power, and we're going to freeze to death. And, oh, my God. It's just, it's so... You know,
it's typical.
I'm fortunate because all my power and everything is all underground because I live in a townhouse and it's run all down like the middle of the street and it comes out to the front of the house.
Right.
If you notice on the front of my house, there's an electric meter.
Yes.
I'm finding a way to jam that little dial so they can't read it. But, you know, so I'm really fortunate, you know, my electricity is underneath the ground, so if the lines ice and snap, I mean, if one of the big lines ice and snap, I guess I'm cold too. But, you know, I'm fortunate with that, but I'm thinking, you know, my God, these people, I mean, it was going to warm up Sunday, right? And it's going to get around, it's not going to get above freezing. It's going to be like 32 today, but the sun's going to be shining, which will heat the asphalt, which will cure any travel problems. So it's like, I get it for the people that live out in the county and they're, you know, 20 minutes from the closest anything.
Right.
But if you live like in the city, I mean, back in 93 when it iced over like that, I'm trying to think, we got a big ice storm, snowstorm. It may have been 90. No, it wasn't 93. It was like 89 or something like that, 88, 89. And we lived not downtown, but we lived kind of the outskirts of town. Me and my dad walked. You remember where I used to live, like over by, So we walked from there to the CNS or the hometown market now.
Yeah.
I mean, they act like it's a chore. I mean, I busted my butt several times on the way there, but we made it, and we got bread and milk and eggs, and we were okay.
You know, back in 93 or 89, whichever one, I don't remember. I was young. I lived up in North Carolina, and the snowstorm came through. And where I lived in North Carolina was 30 minutes from anything. I mean, it was out in the middle of the boonies.
So you weren't walking nowhere?
No, I weren't walking anywhere. Wasn't driving anywhere. Wasn't doing anything. All I remember is my dad used to work with this guy that put up phone booths. That used to be a thing. And
is that where you change clothes?
It's a public restroom in North Carolina, in New York City.
Yeah, okay.
But he brought home the top of one of them, and they were a rounded dome.
Yeah.
So, and we had this big hill in the neighborhood that we would all slide down because it was the only time we'd ever been able to do that.
I got to tell you, we had one sled, right, and we had the VFW parking lot, you know, where that was, and the hill comes down.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a telephone pole at the end. Guess what I hit? I like to kill myself. First time, got it first time. I was like, why can't I have this luck in other things?
We didn't have anything. That was the best thing. Dad knew that we might get snow, so he went over to his friend's place and got that dome like the Friday before it snowed. And
my kids are going to have fun with this.
Yeah, my kids are going to have fun with this. Because we didn't have anything like sleds or anything where I was in North Carolina. We never got snow. And one of the neighborhood kids got on it. Actually, about 4 of them did. And slid down the hill straight into the road, which was iced over. And like right about that time, this pickup truck comes lumbering through. They slid across the road, and the pickup truck drove by real slow. And I was like, they could have died.
They could have died. Well, there ain't nothing like garbage can lid in the snow.
Yeah, that was mine.
Well,
that's what I used.
That's why I almost died hitting the telephone pole.
Mine had the handle on the top of it, so it didn't slide. And I was like, why isn't this working?
I broke mine off. I broke it off. My mom was real pissed off. She was like, how am I supposed to get a lid off this garbage can?
There were about 8 of us.
And I was like, you don't ever take the garbage out, no way.
Yeah. There were about 8 of us in the neighborhood, and a bunch of us just got the giant cardboard boxes and broke them apart so we could slide down on those.
Refrigerator boxes.
Yeah.
Man, that's the most fun. But we did not get anything.
No.
We got a glancing blow.
Up.
We got nothing.
Let's back up a second. So let's go back to Friday whenever this was happening, right?
Yeah, Walmart.
So one of the employees who lives on top of a mountain, literally, left an hour and a half after he got to work because he wasn't sure if he'd be able to get home if the snow hit him.
Well,
if the snow hit him.
Well, here's the thing. Now, so to the south, to Coleman, where so we have 2 employees that's down there.
Yeah.
I didn't want them on the road if it got bad.
Yes.
Right? So, about 11:30, 12, I was like, y'all go ahead and go home. Because, I would rather them be able to return to work on Monday than be killed on the way home on Friday.
Yeah.
That's just...
I was getting to that.
That's the kind of thing.
I was getting to that. So 2 of the 3 employees that were working on Friday had left by noon.
Yeah. So we bailed in.
Yeah.
And filled the gap. And we were like, man, it's going to snow. It ain't going to snow till this evening. And so we were like, we'll call it an early day at 4 o'clock. We'll put a note up on the door
Just
that
to
says,
be safe.
Hey, for the safety of our employees, we called it an early day. We'll be closed Saturday, because they were saying, okay, it's going to push north, and whenever it gets to you, it's going to dump all over you. And I'm like, okay, so it's going to push north, and it's going to dump all over us. We're going to get like 2 inches of snow. Awesome.
Right.
Dude, we got nothing. My sidewalk was dry all day long.
Yeah,
and
Friday
we got
and Saturday.
Nothing. And then so the employee
It was
that lives
cold
in
as all
Coleman,
get out.
oh God, it was like 7. So the employee that lives furthest in Coleman was supposed to work Saturday, and he calls and he goes, "Man, we didn't get nothing. I'll be there," And so we ended up opening on Saturday, and we didn't get anything. And So I follow a couple of the meteorologists, and the thing that. So they say stuff like, "It must be nice to get paid to be wrong." Well, what the hell do you want? It's, you can't predict Mother Nature.
No.
You can guess what it might do.
Yeah.
But, what do you, if you want definitive answers.
I wonder if people listening to this further north are like, yeah, but at most you were going to get 2 inches of snow. What is that? What could that possibly do? Okay, so my mother calls me yesterday afternoon, right? My uncle is a truck driver. He was driving from somewhere in Georgia to Texas. He had to go through Alabama to get there. He's on I-20, and he comes to a standstill. So he starts calling around trying to figure out what happened. This other trucker, thought that they were, I don't even know what happened. Anyway, it jackknifed and plowed through a bunch of cars, shut down the interstate, right? All because he hit a patch of ice or something like that. I don't know what happened, right? But we don't have any way to stop that from happening in Alabama. We don't have the
infrastructure of salt trucks and sand trucks and all that. The most we've got is this little water tank that they fill up with saltwater solution and, quote, pre-treat the roads.
Yeah.
But we're not, and we don't get snow, right?
No.
If we got snow, it'd be one thing, but we get this icy, slushy stuff that freezes over and makes a sheet of ice on the road. And I don't know, go try to drive on an ice cube. It ain't happening. It's not happening. That's just, even if you melt it, then you got a slick, wet ice cube, which is even worse.
Yeah.
So we just don't have the infrastructure to back that up. And so if they even say we're going to get a dusting, people are just like, "Well, God, Martha, we're going to die."
Yeah.
It's the big one. So it's like 93, and they rush to the grocery store and they buy every loaf of bread. The bread aisle, I swear, if you had an issue with an infestation or something, they gonna clear it out, right? It's bad when they buy the off-brand wheat hamburger buns. There's nothing left in there. There's not even really King Hawaiian rolls left in there. I'm just like, who's going to eat them for bread? I know, raise your hand.
I'm raising my hand.
And what do you do with a milk bread sandwich?
You make French toast. Because you got eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Milk, bread, and eggs.
Y'all better be picking up some cinnamon and sugar and
I'm sure we've
syrup.
made this joke. I'm sure we've made this joke in the past at some point. But everybody says, what do you do? What do you do with bread, milk, and eggs? Especially if you lose power.
French toast. Oh, well, if you lose power, I guess you eat bread pudding.
Right.
And milk.
Gross.
Well, it's just like the guy that was pretending to be the woman, the Southern woman. All right, now when we get here, y'all remember your sections.
Yeah.
You go here. You go get that stuff that we made the snow cream with. You know everything that we need for that, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, we don't get it that often. So people up north are like, y'all make what?
Oh my God, snow cream's the best.
Y'all make snow. You know, you just buy ice cream in the grocer's freezer, right? We're like, yeah, but that's not near as much fun.
No, it's not.
God made this ice cream. I broke Blake.
God made this ice cream. Oh, God.
Oh, man, I'm moving on.
Oh, my head hurts.
Expectations versus reality.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, this can play right in. Expectations versus reality. Expectations, 2 inches of snow. Reality, a whole bunch of mad people.
What am I going to do with all this freaking egg, milk, and bread?
Yeah, you can't eat all this bread with your Jim Beam. What? Anyway, expectations versus reality. So, expectation, we got snow. Reality, we did not get snow.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about business stuff.
I am talking about business stuff now, and I kind of slid that in there. But, so, you pay to build a website, right? And people automatically assume that, whenever they get a website, it just magically appears. Everyone knows where it's at, and the Google knows where it's at, and Bing knows where it's at, and all these other search engines just magically are going to just throw you at the top of the ranking for whatever it is you do. And
congratulations, you made a website. Let me put it at the top.
Yeah, let me show everyone your piece of artwork. Okay, first of all, this is in 3rd grade. Second of all, Mama's not putting that artwork up on the fridge.
Yeah.
It's ugly. So you can't expect to just shoot right to the top. I mean, there's things that you can do, and when we design websites, we do some on-page SEO optimization. Just basic stuff, right? You make sure that you use their name and what they do, and that sort of thing. You name drop some of the products they carry and stuff like that. But you don't go big boy SEO for a couple $1,000s.
No.
I mean, you go big boy SEO for, a couple $1,000s a month.
Right.
And that's what you got to think about is, you've got to, like, every picture's got to be customized, every header's got to be customized, the links in the website have to be customized and crawler friendly and stuff like that. Yeah. So, so if you go to the car lot, right, and you look at the Honda Civic and you look at all the options on it, like heated seats and lane assist and adaptive cruise control and brake hold and all the stuff that Jacob, So, other than the heated
I was making a note because I wanted to link to the
other
episode where we talked about that.
Other than the heated steering wheel that it doesn't have, that he complained about. But see, that's the thing. Expectation versus reality, right? If you go in that car lot and you look at that Honda Civic and you're like, well, it comes with blah, 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 blah. And you get the lowest model, right? You get the cheapest one on the lot.
Right.
I'm going to get the cheapest one on the lot, and I want it in blue. Well, it's probably not going to have all those fancies on it.
Yeah,
right?
no.
For that. So, I guess people don't look at that in business terms, and because you've got so many people out there doing budget stuff.
I'll tell you what really, I don't know if it irks me or if it hurts my feelings or what, but it definitely does not make me happy. Whenever you get somebody that comes up to you and says, for example, we're not at the top of Google and I've been paying you for X number of months.
Oh God, that pisses me off to no end. They're like, well, I've been paying you for 6 months and I can't even find my own website. Well, if you type in www.
Right.
That little domain you gave me .com, it'll come up for you.
Yeah, but
why ain't Google know when I'm there?
Yeah, but they expect to be able to be at the top of Google and all the other search engines just because they're paying us monthly money. It's not that simple. It's not that straightforward. What they are paying for does not include all of the extras.
Right.
We are not the fancy Honda Civic. You're not paying for the fancy.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
let me back that up. We can be the fancy Honda Civic.
Yeah, if you want to pay me to be the fancy Honda Civic,
How are we comparing ourselves to Honda Civics?
I don't know, but I'll kick out a heated
Cadillac.
I'll kick out a heated steering wheel if that's what a heated Cadillac. But I mean, I can come with heated seats and adaptive cruise control and brake hold and all that other crap. If you want to pay me to come with all the features, I can come with all the features. But people have gotten used to this. Back in the old day, right? You went to a blacksmith to get your horses shoed, right? That's just a thing that happened. And you didn't go to the blacksmith and go, all right, what's the cheapest shoe you got?
Yeah.
You went to the blacksmith and said, I'd like to have my horse shoed. How much is it? Or whatever. And he told you how much it was. And y'all did a little barter deal where you gave him so many bales of hay to shoe your horse. And that's how that worked.
Yeah.
And it's changed. Like something in our minds at some point went from, I want the best that I can get. I want quality, right? I know I'm going to have to pay for it. I mean, look at cars.
Yeah.
We now have Kias, right?
Yeah.
They are, without a doubt, the absolute bottom of the barrel, cheap, made from recycled Bud Light cans. Like, take the cheapest.
Are you talking about Daewoo cars?
Daewoo should stay well away from cars. They shouldn't even make VCRs. Do you remember the Daewoo VCRs?
Yeah. We had at school, we had a Daewoo TV. And
I'm surprised it didn't eat tapes.
I don't even know the TV ever worked.
Oh, my God.
Like, it was constantly the one that nobody wanted because they were never sure if it was going to turn on.
Oh, my God. The volume doesn't work. But somewhere we changed from quality and to building stuff cheap, right? Let's get it as cheap as we can get it. And, TVs. I mean, you can pick up like a 32-inch TV for a little over $100 now.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think, just a few years ago it was so much more. And I get it, parts have gotten less expensive and it's easier to manufacture and all that stuff. But at some point you start killing the quality as well.
Yeah.
And so that's what.
Well, now that goes back to what we were talking about before Christmas. The Black Friday sales where they manufacture specifically defective, low quality.
Well, not defective.
I'm calling it defective.
Oh my God.
Low quality versions of the same TVs.
Yes.
Made from subpar components.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that at some point we became more concerned with keeping the money than getting the best thing.
Right. And that's so for us, I mean, we're going to put 110% into anything that we build anyway.
Right.
Right. Depending on how, if you pay $500 for a website, you're going to get a great $500 website, but it's going to be basic.
Right.
Where if you pay, $5,000 for a website, it's going to be, golden toilets. And,
right. You're not going to get the adaptive, responsive, mobile ready, ultimate version of your website for $500.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. But, so one of the other clients, and I won't mention, well, I guess I will mention his name because, he's an awesome guy. So we taking care of Classic Car Care and building their website. And so Friday in Snowmageddon, in the middle of Snowmageddon, I dropped by and I'm like, hey, Bobby, I want to show you, what we've done so far on the website.
I love Bobby. I did work for him before we did the website for him, and he's not. Like, there's no emotion.
Yeah, he doesn't get excited. Like, he's a lot like Gordon at 911. So, I'm like, what do you think about it? It's nice. Y'all really pegged it. The colors are great. That's exactly what I wanted. I'm thinking, can you crack a smile? Like, did we do okay? I mean, I guess we did. And I was like, okay. Well, watch this. This is really cool. And I turned the iPad up on its side and swapped it to mobile mode where it drops the big banner and, makes it mobile friendly and everything. He goes, that's nice. Can you put that back in desktop mode? And I went, my God. So I put it back in desktop mode and he scrolled through and, well, I'll get you some wording for this. I'll get some wording for that. And, I mentioned his logo and I said, we touched up the logo and everything. Actually, we recreated the logo. And he's like, wait, you recreated the logo? Sure. Well, the Southern Truck Outfitters on the bottom, can you make it bigger? I was like, sure. Yeah. And he was like, cool. I'm just like, wow.
High praise.
Woo! I mean, I'm not one, I don't need constant reassuring, but whenever you are doing something like this for a client, it would be nice to get a little woo.
Yeah, I mean, we've been working on this website now for a month or something like that?
We're coming up on the 30-day mark, which is the deadline that I would like to have it done and complete and out, but we're probably going to be a week behind on that, but it is really nice.
He did send in some information, which is great because you get the other clients that you call every day for
build us
a week.
A website. Okay, what do you want it to say? We'll get back with you.
Crickets.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. But that's just like, the website we did for, 911. They, right out of the box looked at it and they were like, that's good.
Yeah.
You want to change anything? Nope.
Looks great.
And I'm like, help.
Yeah.
Give me some emotion.
Give me something.
Yell at me, please.
So no.
But so you got those clients that, you knock out of the park, and you feel good about it. And they're just like, you did a good job, awesome. And then you got the clients that you knock it out of the park and they're just never happy.
Yeah.
Like they're never completely satisfied. It's probably the biggest reason. So our big claim to fame in the beginning was we make websites affordable for everyone.
Right.
And the way that we did that was we said, you know what, we're going to finance these websites.
Yeah.
And now we've come to the realization that that's not great because now you have to not only make them happy once, but now I got to make them happy for 24 onces. Yeah. Once a month, I got to make them happy. And it's a lot. Like, they don't understand that you're paying for this website. Like, we're going to build you an awesome website. And then you're basically all you're doing is paying for it over 24 months. We're not every month. We're not, giving you a new website. Yeah, like, it's not some miracle thing where, you're financing.
That reminds me of
$2,000. You're not financing.
I don't remember if we talked about it on the radio show or not, but there was the book that you were reading that brought up the $500 website.
Oh, yeah. Why they love the
$500 website. And I want to say that maybe that should be the direction we should have taken. But we were trying to, as always, our giant hearts.
Trying to help the little guy.
Yep. You want the best website out there? Great. I give you a $2,000 website.
And so there's another graphic designer in town. And they won't do business with you if you've not been in business at least a year, right?
Right.
They don't do startups. They don't do small business. They just don't.
Right.
And now that we've got into the website financing game, I can see why. I go back and I go, well, now I see why. And it's probably, their years of experience and everything else and, blah, 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 blah. But I get it. So what our claim to fame is now is one thing that we do really, really well is mobile optimization. Yeah. Like we knock mobile optimization out of the park and then some. Like, so Google has a tool that it'll rank your site, right?
Right.
It'll tell you how fast it is. It'll tell you how fast it loads on mobile, how fast it loads on desktop. It'll give you an overall score of your mobile friendliness and all this stuff. Every single site we have created scores a 100 on mobile friendliness.
Yep.
I mean, it's I think if we could get extra credit, we probably would. Like Google would go, wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So we're going to probably start taunting ourselves as, the mobile optimization experts. I mean, that's what we do. And it's not rocket science.
No, it's just following the rules.
But I mean, it is time consuming and it's a lot more work and, so yes, it's a lot more work. But I think if we taunt ourselves as the mobile experts instead of, hey, we finance it for you, I think we'll get just as much response from that as we will from, we'll finance it for you.
I still think that financing is a good option for some people, especially if they know what they want. But more times than not, you run into the problem where they just don't know.
Yeah.
They know they need a website. They know they want a website. They just don't know what they need. And then whenever you start making it and it starts sort of coming together, I guess
something clicks and they're like, ooh, I should be more involved in this.
Yeah.
And then they take it every,
They try to micromanage it to death.
Yeah. And to the point of, we have one site that we will not mention the name of.
Yeah.
That I don't like showing to anyone.
Right.
Like, if people's like, well, show me some of your work, that's the last one I'm going to show them.
Uh-huh.
And I usually preface it by saying, please don't judge my work off this one, but I will show you another one that we did. And they're like, well, why don't you want me to judge your work off of it? I'm just like, I would prefer you look at, Rate 1 to 5 or, Geek 550 or, one of those other websites, but not this one.
Right.
And the reason being is the person provided all their own pictures.
The owner micromanaged the entire thing
and
to
had
death.
the thumb on and was like, no, I want that picture to be cropped this way and I want a circle around it put this way.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, they wanted it a specific way. They got it a specific way.
We'll do it any way you want to do it. It's just not something that's going to hit my portfolio.
I'm not going to say that we were happy to do it because some of the decisions that they made do not look good.
Right.
But, we're in their eyes, we weren't the experts.
Right. And
so
then the thing is, the person that wanted to do this was a creative at heart, just didn't know how to operate anything to do the creative stuff. Like,
right.
If it was drawing it on a piece of paper, they'd have probably been great.
Right.
Just didn't understand the technology and how to build the site and all the other stuff. And I get that, and that we've done some logos that's like that you look at it and go, really, that's probably not going to hit my portfolio because we had one thing in mind and they just killed it with either color choices or
color choices,
I mean,
you can kill something faster than anything.
Okay, so I'm a fan of chocolate and teal, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not for a dentist office.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think of brown, you don't want that anywhere near your dentist, right? You don't want it anywhere near your teeth. So,
fun fact: the person that chose those colors is no longer with us. But anyway,
but they were adamant about that. We were like, well, why don't we make the top of the tooth instead of making that turquoise, not even teal. Instead of making that turquoise, why don't we make that a nice clean white?
Yeah.
And then maybe make the rest of the logo your turquoise kind of color, because you got the toothpaste that's the white and kind of bluish color. And I'm like, why don't we play with that a little bit? And they were like, nope, I want it brown right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okie dokie. So that's not hitting my portfolio. So there's a couple of them out there that and we've done some websites in the past that we go back and look at now, and I noticed the copyright on it was 2010. So for 2010, it probably looked good, but for today, it's like,
I don't know what happened to that site though, because half the images don't work anymore. Yeah. I was like, what happened? I haven't touched that website in 7 years.
It's GoDaddy.
Yeah,
is what happened.
We're not going to go there.
I get. Bluehost, HostGator, if you're looking for hosting, I mean, GoDaddy's good if all you want some basic hosting. The issue is they nickel and dime your butt to death.
Well, I'm sure that the rest of them do the same thing, but I've not used anything else. Well, other than, no, I guess GoDaddy's been the only host I've ever used.
GoDaddy's been the only thing that we've ever used. And, it's, so if you pay yearly, right, you just pay one lump sum every year, a couple $100 for all your hosting.
Right.
They'll hold your files. If something happens and they can't process the credit card, they hold your files for 5 days. 5 days. So if you happen to be off on vacation on a cruise ship and you can't get to anything for 7 days, you come back and all your websites are gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which, funny story, I've never been on a cruise ship. Probably never will because that's expensive.
Because cruise ships.
Yeah. But if you pay for it by the month, 24 hours.
See, that's ridiculous.
And I'm like, that's just dumb. Like, if you have a billing issue and you can't resolve it in 24 hours, I'm going to delete all your crap. So to keep them from doing that, you have to pay an extra $2 a month.
On top of the yearly
backup
fee that you pay.
Oh, well, you have to pay that by the year, too.
Oh, that's...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's cuss words.
Yes,
that's
it is.
Cuss words.
That is cuss words. So that's what happened to me yesterday because he was like, well, if it doesn't bill through, your stuff will just be gone. And I was like, okay, so how much to add your external backups? And he was
I guess that goes with our expectations, too, though. We expected them to be good people, and they're not.
Yeah. Hey, expectations versus reality. So...
Oh, I'll tell you what. Expectations versus reality. Dell reps.
Oh, my God.
Dell reps and their backup Dell reps. So, my Dell rep's awesome, all right?
Derek, you're awesome.
He usually answers my phone call. If he doesn't, he always calls me back. I can get to him via email almost any time.
Almost instantly.
Almost instantly. He's great. He is a great sales rep. His backup over his 1 week vacation at Christmas was god-awful.
Chris, you suck.
He was terrible. I realize he is a backup. He doesn't have all my information. But come on, man. I placed an order on Friday and you didn't process it until the next Wednesday?
No, the next Friday.
He waited a full week to process that.
Yes, because I called him Wednesday.
And it didn't get processed till Friday.
I lost my crap.
That's right.
I called him up and I said, look, I understand you're not my normal Dell rep, and I understand you work best via email, but I'm spending about $2,000 with you, so the least you can do is pick up that phone and take your fat little fingers and dial my phone number and call me back. And I just hung up.
Yeah.
And so he called me back, and he was like, I work best via email. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, you little precious snowflake. You can call me.
Yeah.
And then they didn't process the order until Friday, and then Derek got back on Tuesday, and it was still waiting and approved then. And I'm like, okay, so at this point, we've been waiting officially like a week and a half for this to just get processed to ship out.
I actually tried to place the order on the 23rd?
Thursday, the Thursday before he left, I think.
22nd, 23rd of December, and we're still waiting for it.
Yeah. To be processed, not to be shipped, to be processed to get it ready to be shipped.
So I don't know if we'll ever get that order.
Probably not.
So, but, here's the lesson to take with that. If you are going to assign someone to be your backup at your company, make sure that they are competent enough to handle more than their current workload. One of the excuses that Chris gave was that he had triple the workload because he was a backup for 2 other people. Well, they obviously gave you that extra workload because you didn't have a full workload to begin with,
Or, okay, so I get it, somebody's out. Like at our store, somebody's out sick. So you're down to, instead of 3 people there, you're down to 2 people there.
Yeah.
And, somebody has to pick up the extra slack. Usually it's me or you, but somebody has to pick up the extra slack. Don't use it as an excuse. It's easy to say, hey, a lot of people are going on vacation. It's just really busy right now. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get through this. Don't, give me the look. I am handling 3 other people's stuff, so you're just going to have to wait because that doesn't work for me.
Yep.
Right? I don't like that. I don't like that customer service.
Well,
at all.
for example, Derek came back earlier this week. Day before yesterday, I was on the phone. I was on a conference call with him and another client of ours, a joint client, to order a server. I mean, who else would have done that? Chris wouldn't have done that.
No. And the thing is, Derek got back on like Tuesday or whatever.
Yeah.
We were expecting him back on like Thursday, Friday. And the first thing he did whenever he got to the office was called. Hey,
Yep.
man, I'm back in, I got your voicemail. I'm back in the office. What's going on?
Yep.
And boom, awesome Dell rep. Like
Yep.
so this is the one Dell rep that if we ever lose this Dell rep, I'm going to be really upset.
We've been through a few Dell reps while I've been with since we've had a Dell account.
Yeah.
And it's weird because we'll get emails every once in a while, so-and-so is your new Dell rep. And I was like, well, what happened to the other guy?
Yeah, a Dell.
2 Dells.
So, oh my God. So anyway, it's too early. So anyway, but that annoys me to no end for them to pull somebody out, and I guess that's us kind of over expecting, and you get used to something, and then you get upset when they take it away.
Yeah.
That's just like, in the new car, not the Ford, obviously, but all my new cars that I bought from like 2009 on have all had, a year of free satellite radio or 6 months or something.
Yep.
And then they take it away and then you're mad about it. But then you get it back and you're like, God, why'd they advertise for this stuff? So I guess it's a human being thing. Like we expect more, like,
yeah, well, it's just the
human
current
nature
It's
now.
the current human nature, because you think back 50 years ago, whenever television was first coming out, and they would gladly watch, a minute or two of commercials to get to watch their favorite TV show, because there were no reruns.
Right.
There wasn't TVR. There wasn't streaming. Yeah.
TVR?
DVR.
DVR?
DVR. Did I say TVR?
You said TVR.
DVR.
Yeah. I was like, what disease is that?
Yeah.
So, well, that's just, back in the olden days, I know. So back in the olden days, back in my time, people took baths once a year, right? And now think about that, because they didn't have, it took a lot to heat the water and all this other stuff, and it was a lot. But the saying, don't throw the baby out with the bath water came from, the baby, right? So dad got the first shower, mom got the second shower, and then the children went, oldest to youngest after that. And so by the time the baby got to the bath water, it was just filthy.
Right.
You drop the baby and can't see it and throw it out with the bath water. And that's a pretty bad, that's a bad thing. But people were just happy to be able to get a bath. And now that's something that we just take for granted because we got running water and hot water in the house. And, it's just something that we do every day. Well, I do every day.
I do it sometimes twice a day, depending on what I've been doing that day.
Me too. But anyway, but anyway, I think it's just we've gotten so used to this always connected, really quick lifestyle that we're in now, and news travels extremely quickly. People say, well, why didn't this is the worst it's ever been? Well, that's right, because the news is traveling as fast as it's ever traveled.
Well, you also have to think there's this there's a new type of neurological disease that they've just identified, or at least given a name to, and I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's like news bombardment. Because everyone is constantly getting information all the time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's actually generating disease in the brain because of all of because, think back to the mid-90s. You got your news from two places. You got it from the radio and you got it from the television, right? But you fast forward.
Now you get it
10,
from
15 years.
Social media.
Now you get it from social media. You got Twitter and Facebook. You've got Instagram. You've got
don't forget about Snapchat,
WhatsApp, and you've got all these places that you can find information from that it's like
quickly.
Your brain gets accustomed to processing it. And if it's not there, you sort of go into a panic attack.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, that's just like the no phone or not phone or whatever.
Whatever that was. That hunk of plastic.
Yeah, where they're like, well, it's just a chunk of plastic. But some people, have an anxiety attack if they don't have their phone. And I thought, well, that's stupid, right?
Yeah.
That's dumb. And then I had a young girl come in to get her phone repaired. And when she heard that it was going to be 2 hours, right? Now, Apple, right, you have to make an appointment with the genius, and then they have to look at it, and then it can take up to 5 hours to repair your phone.
Yeah, total repair time is like a week from making the appointment.
Yeah, and so basically, we told her it was going to be about 2 hours. She's like, oh, no, that'll never do. And I was like...
What do you mean?
I mean, what do you mean that'll never do? And she's like, I can't be without my phone for 2 hours.
What?
And I'm like,
why not? Does it govern
you're under the age of 21. You shouldn't even have... What?
Why? Does it control your pacemaker?
I mean,
what? Are you going to die without your phone? Leave me your phone and go play outside.
That's what my mama would have said. You go ride your bike.
Oh my God, that is a perfect segue into the CES stuff that I've got written down. One of the things that's at CES this year is the Fisher-Price Smart Cycle.
Okay,
yeah.
the smart.
It's.
I already want one.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Because if you'll remember a couple years ago, well, like 8 years ago or something like that now, we were doing a photo shoot thing at the mall, and there was a guy upstairs that had a stationary bike hooked to like a video game system, and you had to pedal to make the video game system work.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
That's what the Fisher-Price Smart Cycle is.
No way.
Yes, it is. It is for children who refuse to play outside. So you hook this up to the video game system, and they have to pedal the bike while they play the video game.
Really?
Yes.
I like it. Where do we give them? Where do we get them so we can give them away for Christmas?
Here's my question: what 5-year-old that's refusing to go outside can't be picked up and taken outside?
I mean, is it for that age group?
Yeah, it's the Fisher-Price.
Fisher-Price makes some cool stuff. Have you seen that little red car with the little yellow top? There was a guy that made one of them in like Germany.
Yeah, an actual working one. But yeah, they've got that. It's the Fisher-Price Smart Cycle at CES this year.
I do. I want one.
And
I'd make you ride it.
It's for ages like 3 to 8 or something like that. And
they build good stuff, though. I bet you could throw an adult on it.
Yeah. I read the article. They didn't give any specifics, but it looked like they had games built specifically for the bike. Like you're riding through and you have to tap specific buttons on the bike to make them do things on the screen and stuff like that. But one of the main selling points was you hook it up to the video game system and you don't get to play video games unless you're pedaling the bike. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I like it. I like it a lot. So what is the... well, I figured the robot guide is like a...
It's pretty cool. It's a 5-foot tall robot that you feed your boarding pass to, and it can guide you from where you are.
Please tell me you shove it in his mouth.
I don't know where you put it.
I would so do that. I'd walk up and be like, eat it.
It gives you directions and times for flights if they're delayed or whatever right there on the chest display. And
yes, it does.
Then if you can't find your way there, it will guide you through the airport to your gate.
Has it got like a big rolly ball he rolls on? Or?
I guess. It looks like, I mean...
The only thing that popped into my mind right now is, do you remember the YouTube video I showed you of the little girl on the sidewalk in the airport trying to get to the Starbucks cup, and she kept walking toward it and it kept taking her away from it?
And it was on the other side of the glass.
That's all I can think of right now.
No, the robot looks like it's a 5-foot tall piece of black plastic with a little LED face and a square.
Please tell me it smiles at you.
I don't know. I've just seen pictures, but it's got the little chest display for the information.
My dog's up wandering around. The air cut off just a minute ago, and I was like, it's broken again. But it only stayed off like 2 seconds and then cut right back on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the little robot's kind of cool. I would like. So my thing is, I wish he had like a big ball he rolled around on, because that would, like one of those fitness balls.
Maybe he does.
I mean, that would be kind of cool.
More than likely, it's just treads, though.
Yeah,
That would be more economical. Wouldn't have to waste time balancing on that, you know?
No need for a balance ball. People want you to work on one of them things. They're like, replace your chair at the office with a balance ball. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you try that.
And what does that do for me again?
Aside from aggravate me and make me feel like I'm about to bust the thing.
Oh, man. I saw a dude bust one the other day, like sat down on it at his desk and it popped, and he pulled like his computer off on top of him and stuff.
I believe it.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. If it ever happened to me, that would be me.
So, what's the last thing I have listed? Oh, the smart sensor.
Yeah, the Amber Sensor Smart Farm.
Yeah, it's a sensor that you put into a silo that you store food in. Apparently, food rotting in the silo before it gets shipped is like a huge problem with farming these days.
Really?
So they're inventing a sensor that you put in there that detects all kinds of things: moisture level, air level. It can detect specific types of chemicals from rotting food. So if you have something that's starting to rot, you can prevent it from happening, and you get alerts straight to the farmer's smartphone.
Wow. At farmersonly.com.
Why do you always make that joke when I talk about farms? Farms are a big deal, you know?
Look, I'm the one that was like, hey, let's build a big old tall building and plant stuff in it and make little mechanical robots that tend to it.
No, you're not. I'm the one that said that.
Print is dead.
You guys go back and listen to all the previous times we've talked about farming.
You wrote an article about it because I was like, what if we did this? And then you wrote an article about it.
Yeah.
You're like, that's a cool idea.
I've had that idea for a long time.
Mine.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is print dead?
So maybe not really, kind of, sort of.
Everything that's old is new again, right?
Well, okay, so I think the traditional, and the reason that I brought this up is because Jacob, the highly unpaid intern, that's his jingle. He said, so we were talking about, sales and marketing and him, doing some sales and marketing. And he's like, well, I kind of wish I had like a digital sales brochure. You walk in, pull it up on the iPad, and show it to them and be like, now, if you want to see this on your own time and review it, here's a business card with a website address, and it takes you right to it and everything. And I was like, you millennials, and you're always on your tablets and smartphones and stuff. So, but it got me to thinking, is print really dead? Well, I think a lot of print's dead. But I think the custom stuff, like, people don't handwrite cards anymore. There's a company.
It's
That's
your dog.
So there's a company called Bond, B-O-N-D. And their entire premise of their business is they have this machine that you can type a letter into, and it will handwrite it for you. No crap. I almost said the S word, but no crap. They can only do one letter at a time, right?
Are you
and the machines
kidding me?
No, and the machines are expensive, right?
Of course they are. They have to emulate handwriting.
I know that, but here's the thing: you can't buy the machine, right? Because people were like, "Oh my god, I want to buy that machine."
Why?
Because they're morons. But anyway, I just ticked off like everyone that listens to us. Y'all aren't morons because y'all know where the smart show is. It's not here.
My hands are up in the air right now. I am so
pissed
amazed at this. Why?
No, it gets
you
better.
You can buy a $3 pack of pens and get like 100 of them and write it yourself in your own handwriting.
It gets better. They have custom A1 invitation size envelopes and little invitations, right? That you can handwrite thank you notes and stuff on. So you type out what you want it to say. You email it to the company. You pay $8 or whatever, right? And the machine will handwrite it for you. They will seal it and send it for you.
Oh, dear Jesus.
So it's not
You've
even
gotta be
it's
kidding
not
me.
even signed by you, right? It's signed by the robot. But
What is the point of
But
this?
you pay. I don't know how much it is. I said $8. It's probably more reasonable. $4.95.
I doubt it.
So you type out what you want it to say. You send it to this company. This company will feed this machine a piece of paper, and it will handwrite your letter for you.
Now,
they will seal it in an envelope and send it for you.
So I was thinking of this in single-use terms. I'm going to mail a letter to my mother, and that doesn't make any sense. But for a large company that wants to advertise with handwritten notes, I mean...
yeah, but I mean, come on.
Then you've got, you take the time that would have been spent writing these letters doing other things. You type this out, you send it to this company, and then it makes these handwritten notes that you can mail out to all of your potential customers, right? I mean, that makes a lot more sense than paying $8 to type a letter.
Yeah, but I mean, do you mail merge, dear Mr. Johnny Singleton?
Yes.
Thank you for being client of XYZ company.
Yes.
I mean, it's, I don't know. I feel cheated by it. Right? I feel cheated.
Isn't that all marketing is, though?
Well, yes.
Tricking you into buying something?
Trickery and witchery. So I printed, and I love print. I do. There is something about watching the color being splashed onto a piece of paper that you can physically hold that makes me happy. And I'm not talking about inkjet printing it on you. I'm talking send it off to a big print press where it's offset print. It's not a digital run. It's not a low run thing where it's on cheap paper and all this stuff. You get real good, clean, crisp, high quality paper, and you put this ink on it that just is vibrant and pops. And it's something about, I've just described like my favorite dessert kind of thing. And you drizzle it with this caramel. But no, there's something about that. There's something about that makes me happy. Being able to hold a piece of art in my hand that I have 1,000 of makes me happy. And, and we just recently printed a series of postcards. But we did it a little differently, right? The postcards aren't selling you anything. They're not inviting you to go look at anything. They're not 50% off coupons or anything like that. They're just postcards. And, back in the day, whenever you went to the Grand Canyon and Mount Rushmore and, hell, even NASA right here in Huntsville, Alabama.
Anytime you went to a place that was
a touristy
place, yeah.
They had racks and racks and racks of postcards, right? And they had pictures from all around town and, the Saturn V rocket and, Mount Rushmore, and they had these beautiful landscapes and stuff. And you flip it over, and the back was blank for the most part, and it had a section for you to write, Dear Grandma, thinking of you while I'm in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yep.
Partying my A off. Yeah. There's something special about that handwritten note.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen anymore. You don't get
We'll check
postcards.
the cost on that bond machine and put it in the show notes because I just feel cheated. Would you not feel cheated if you got I picture some, jackhole sending in, a love note that's like, my dearest so-and-so, I'm thinking of you this day and loving you much.
All I can think of is that it's got to go off of some basic rules, meaning it's got to run off of a font, right? Even though it's handwritten.
No,
so
it's a pen.
Right, it's a pen.
It's a 4-way axis, like a 3D printer.
Yeah.
And it literally,
I get
cursive
that.
writes, and we could argue this forever. If you found the contents of this show encouraging or enlightening, we would encourage you to follow us on Twitter at Purple Tie Guys. Find us on the web at www.purpletieguys.com or facebook.com/Purple Tie Guys. That's kind of where we're at. So remember, no matter what you do this week, ask yourself, what are you doing during your purple tie?
Good night, everyone.
Good night, y'all.